functions with an implicit return value in the future are going to become really, really important. Now, in this example, or in these examples, I'm going to show you how it works in its most simplest form, but in later videos you're going to start seeing how we can use it really, really well. But in order to understand that, you have to understand this first of all right? So what we've got here is four mathematical functions. We've got multiply, add, subtract and divide. And as you can see in the first one, we are multiplying num1 by num2. And just for the sake of showing what it's doing, we're multiplying num3 by num2, all right? And that's super, super simple. And we are saying return the product of num1 by num2, and that's returning an integer, as you can see here. Now, when we come to the add function, you might think, well, wait a minute, this is not returning anything. This is where the implicit return function comes from. The body of this one function only contains one expression, and that is it. And this is the clear thing about it. This is the important thing about it. One expression. So the compiler is going to say, wait a minute, I know because it only contains one expression that we've got an integer here of the return type. And this num1 plus num2 equals a integer as well. So I'm going to use this as the return value. So the return value, or the expression, the value of this expression is going to be used for the return value of the function. So we don't need to supply the return keyword in this. And this is once again in the subtract function. We are subtracting number 1 from number 2, and it's the only expression in the function. For that reason, we can remove the return keyword. And then divide number 1 by number 2, as long as it's not 0, then we can return that number. Now, let's just to show you this. If we build it, you see it builds perfectly fine, and it's all happy. Run it, it's not going to do anything, but building it's the most important thing. So if we now say result here, and then we return the results and build this, you'll see that everything works perfectly fine, right? Because we have used the return keyword. However, if we then just say this, or we say add 2, you'll see it doesn't like this, because this is now the second expression. This was the first expression that went to let results, and missing returning global function expected to return int. So as long as it's the single or the only expression, you can do this. So don't start, if you basically going to put multiple lines or multiple expressions on it, then you can't use this one feature of the Swift programming language. And like I said, this is going to become super important when we start talking about high order functions, etc., and so on, and where you don't even have to specify some other stuff, and you only have to specify the operands instead. But that's another key feature of the Swift programming language. But first of all, you must understand this. All right. With that said, I hope that you've learned something from this one video. It might seem super simple, all right? It might seem super irrelevant, but don't take this for granted. This is going to come and bite you in the future if you don't understand this, all right? Because you can really reduce the amount of code that you write in the future if you can understand this, all right? And functions are the be-all and end-all of the Swift programming language, okay? Just like what structs are. Structs are the main type, but functions, they really make it. So when we start getting really complicated, and right now we are just covering the basics of the Swift programming language, okay? And functions are the pinnacle of it, all right? So, and we haven't really scratched the surface right now. With that said, I hope you've got something out of this one video. I hope you've learned something. I hope that the rest of these videos have really taught you something, and I hope it gives you a good foundation to move forward in the future. And if you do use these videos in the future, or you have used these videos in order to get yourself a job in the future, then that is the only thing that I care about, because that is brilliant. I want to pass on my knowledge. I want to pass on my maybe thousands of hours of programming Swift. I don't know how many hours there are, but there's lots and lots of hours. Yeah, I want to pass on my 15 years worth of software development to people, and this is what I know the best. So if you do like it, then please feel free to think about giving me a like. Otherwise, subscribe, share the video to any of your friends, because maybe they might need the help as well, or if you're in university, then let them know about this, because this videos can help them, I'm sure. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. And if you do have any comments, questions, feedback, concerns, then let's start a conversation in the comment section down below. I do answer every single message, and if you do have a question, I will take time to think of the answer to give it to you, a proper answer. But I'm trying to make all the videos detailed and in the correct order, so I've got a video to answer all of your questions. So if you have a question about a future up-and-coming topic, well, you're just going to have to wait until the future video comes. Other than that, thanks very much. Ciao, ciao, and goodbye.